G'day guys, welcome back to Pickels Pickles, and I just want to start by giving a big thanks to everyone who took the time to watch my last hot sauce video. It's had way more views than I ever would have expected, and I hope it's given some of you the inspiration and guidance to start experimenting with making your own sauces. So this time around we're going to make a bright and tangy jalapeno hot sauce. So let's get straight to it. For this sauce, we're going to ferment 15 to 20 jalapeno chilies, 1 medium onion, a thumb-sized piece of ginger, and a few cloves of garlic. Then after the fermentation, we're going to add some white vinegar, the zest and juice of a couple of limes, and we'll also bring a Granny Smith apple into the mix. Finally, if you like coriander, adding a few leaves at the end makes for a fantastic addition to an already flavourful sauce. Preparing the chilies is as easy as taking the tops off and then cutting them into rounds. Again, gloves are highly recommended. Now the jalapenos aren't as hot as the habaneros I've used before, so this time I'm going to keep the seeds in. If you want the spiciness to be less of a kick and more of a light zing, you can remove some of the seeds. Next we'll chop the onion into chunks, peel and slice the ginger, and then crush and peel the cloves of garlic. Then we'll add all these ingredients into a glass jar, along with a few peppercorns and 4 cardamom pods. Then I'll use a plastic fermentation buddy to keep everything submerged. Next, it's time to make the brine. So for every litre of water, add 3 tablespoons of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and give it a stir until everything's dissolved. Add the brine to the jar, making sure everything is submerged. Then we'll leave it at room temperature to ferment. Now, like I mentioned in my last video, you can really ferment it for however long you want, but this time around I've had pretty good results after about 2 weeks. Feel free to play around with a few alterations, for example adding green capsicum, or try roasting a few jalapenos first in the oven to alter their flavour profile. Make sure you don't roast all of them though, because you'll cook the microorganisms that are necessary for fermentation. So we're back about 2 weeks later, and you can see that as usual, the brine's changed colour as the fermentation's progressed. And again, you can see all those bubbles of carbon dioxide that are still being formed as a byproduct. So when you're ready to bottle the sauce, all you need to do is strain out the ingredients, making sure you reserve some of the brine so we can add it to the sauce a bit later. And now it's time to add the remaining ingredients. First we'll add the zest and juice of a couple of limes, then a roughly diced green apple, and if you like it, you can add a few leaves of coriander. I wouldn't go adding too much because it can overpower the flavour. Then we'll add a cup of white vinegar and a cup of brine. Then we'll add the ingredients in batches to the blender and split the liquids we've added between them. Lastly, blend it together to get a nice smooth consistency. Again, don't let the ingredients get too hot when you blend them, because that heat will be harmful to the microorganisms you've fermented. Now once we've got the sauce to a nice consistency, we'll use a funnel to pour it into some bottles. So that's my recipe for a jalapeno hot sauce. So it's got a bit of a kick to it, but nowhere near as hot as the habanero hot sauce. And the limes and the green apple add some nice bright citrus and sour flavours that help to offset the spiciness of the jalapeno. So it's a good sauce to try if you want something that's not too spicy but still packs a fair bit of flavour. And now that it's time to come up with a name, I'm going to have to take some inspiration from its appearance and also pay homage to one of the most influential films of modern cinema and call it Shrek sauce. So thanks again to everyone who took the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful or at least entertaining, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos as they come out. And I'll see you next time on Pickels Pickles.